Today I'm diving into the old wild world of the strangest music devices from the early 2000s. And I'm going to start from here. This is the homepage of Time, the online edition. And here I found a section about the coolest inventions of 2004. As you can see, there are many subsections about innovative forms of transportation, computerized shoes, robots, a strange device for preventing cell phone static. Many of the gadgets that were popular at the time were somehow related to the iPod. But we won't only talk about iPods, there is so much more in this jungle. So let's get started. iFM, iTrip, iTalk, iDog, iBeam, iRecord. There was a reason for the extensive coverage of these kinds of products, the iPod boom. The first iPod was launched in 2001, and between 2004 and 2005, sales skyrocketed. In June 2007, however, the first iPhone came out, and since 2009, iPod sales have gradually begun to decline. So let's explore some of the most bizarre iPod gadgets of that time. The iRecord, for example. A device for recording videos and audio from analog sources and then uploading to your iPod. It looks like a pretty expensive and intricate way of watching your favorite TV recordings on an iPod, especially if your iPod had a 2.5 inches display. Another gadget promoted at that time was the iFM, a radio receiver developed by Griffin Technology that integrates remote control functionality for your iPod. It doesn't look like something you would buy today, but it was actually a desirable thing in the early 2000s, so much so that Apple launched the official iPod radio remote in 2006. Then, after 3 years, the 5th generation iPod Nano came out, making this accessory obsolete, because the new iPod contained its own built-in radio. However, the Griffin Technology iFM featured a recording functionality, making it pretty unique. Now, let's move on to this one called the iTrip. At first I thought this tool was almost the same thing as the iFM, but I was wrong. Actually, the iTrip is an FM transmitter, which means you can use it to transmit the music on your iPod to a nearby FM radio. It works a bit like a modern Bluetooth speaker, but the speaker is a radio, and it must be tuned to the specific frequency that you select on the iTrip. I particularly like this gadget because it lets you use something you probably already have at home, a radio, and transform it into a speaker for listening to your playlist. Also, the iTrip was perfect for the car radio, maybe paired with the PodPod, which is a cup holder. I really enjoyed the official description of this product, which says, "Put your iPod in the lap of luxury." And also, while we haven't rolled any cars, we know that your iPod isn't likely to fall out. I love the irony. By the way, did you know Apple tried to obtain a monopoly on the use of the letter I? Most of the products I mentioned earlier have an I in their naming, and their designs could suggest they are official Apple products, but they aren't. For example, the iTrip and the iFM were produced by Griffin Technology, a brand that was acquired by Incipio Group in 2016. And then in 2021, Incipio was acquired by Vinci Brands. However, Apple sued a company which owns the Australian brand Dopey, which is iPod spelled backwards, and has been selling laptop, bags, etc. But the bid has been knocked back. So no, Apple doesn't own the monopoly on the letter I. Even Compaq and HP used the I for some of their products. The iPod desktop PC, for example, a product inspired by the iMac, also for its design, and the iPod Pocket PC devices. And mentioning HP, I think that one of the most creative and bizarre ideas in this market probably was HP printable tattoos. They were basically glossy stickers that you could buy and stick on your iPod. In an era when iPods were only available in white, printable tattoos let you personalize your iPod by buying pre-printed designs, or you could print the tattoos yourself. Look at these designs. These stickers were pre-scored and water resistant and have been developed by HP in collaboration with Apple. iPod tattoos have been launched on the market in October 2004. In the same period, the first U2 iPod came out. It was the first edition of a non-white classic iPod, and it was a limited version celebrating the U2 band. It featured a red click wheel within a black front surface and a chrome-plated back. Actually, 2004 really seems the year Apple decided to embrace colors for their iPods. In February 2004, the first generation of iPod minis came out and were available in 5 colors. Now we will leave the main road and search for something wilder. This is something I found on eBay and well, how convenient could it be to skip a song with these headphones? But hey, at least you can show off cord-free listening. These iBratz cordless headphones are part of a line of Bratz electronic products released between 2005 and 2007. I believe some of them represent original ideas. For example, this is an FM wireless microphone. You can sing on the radio. I assume it has an integrated radio. And this, a safe that you can open with a secret key code and a voice password. Double the security, double the style, for sure. But we started this journey from the iPods, so a natural question would be, is there an MP3 player from Bratz? Yes, of course, and it has integrated speakers. Okay, I'm done with Bratz for today. My question now is, are there weirder ways to listen to music if you live in the 2000s? Well, there are. Why not use a plant, for example? Let's Corp is a Japanese company that still exists today and used to sell IP phones and other electronics for B2B, I guess. But it also used to sell this thing called the Keon flower speaker that uses real plant parts to conduct sound waves to fill a 16-feet radius with music. This means that if you change flowers, the quality of sound changes too. Some versions are pretty expensive. The price is up to $220, but pretty unique. Other products try to solve problems that don't exist anymore. Or at least today you won't write the lead of a piece as here. Poor reception is the cause of all cell phones. So what is it? It's a headset with noise cancellation, but only for the input. So you use it just for improving the audio quality of the person you're calling. Nothing to do with poor signal reception, but okay, cool. Now, are there any other weird ways to listen to music if you are in the 2000s? Yes, look, this is a Casio wrist music player, and it was a great piece of technology for the time. Alongside the GPS Pathfinder watch and the wrist camera watch, which was very cool. Casio experimented a lot in those years. This $249 wrist music player has 32 MB of storage, which means about 50 minutes of music if you use compressed audio files. And yes, it wasn't a lot, but it was a pretty decent capacity for MP3 players at the time, when we're still a niche market. By the way, many things were included in the box. a clip-on headphone jack, earbuds, headphones, a docking station for recharging the battery and transferring files from a computer, a power supply for the docking station, a CD containing the MP3 management software, and of course the watch. The craziest feature of this watch, you could even read the track name on the display, but one letter at a time. These were some of the devices and gadgets that I found in some online magazines and websites of the early 2000s. I hope you enjoyed the video. Actually, this is my first video, so if you want to support my work and watch more videos, please like and subscribe. Bye!